What is going on, everybody? It's me, it's the original gamer StevieStrow, and what are we looking at here today? This is going to be an interesting video. We're looking at Time Bandit version 2.0. This was a game I played on my color computer as a kid, one of my favorite color computer games, but I also mentioned that there was a DOS version of this, which I also had, and I found it on the internet. So technically this is not a color computer game I'm showing you. It's going to be the MS-DOS version, but it's a DOS version of a color computer game, which I still think is pretty cool. So look at some of the credits here. So, programmed by Timothy Purvis, graphics Harry Lafnier, original program by Bill Dunleavy and Harry Lafnier. So some of the same names are involved in this company still. Mitchtron, same thing as the Coco. And this supported a handful of different graphics modes. The graphics modes we're going to do here is the VGA graphics, which was pretty revolutionary for the 80s and for the PC, because the PC started off as a 4-color graphic system, just like the Coco did. The PC kind of graduated through graphics, so CGA had 4 colors. EGA gave us 16 colors, but VGA, which was pretty groundbreaking for its time, gave us 256 on-screen colors. So you can see here, this is very, very, very colorful. So I need to change my controllers to keyboard, and I'll just keep it simple. But look how colorful this is. This is more colorful than any Coco game could have been in the 80s. I think the Coco 3 came out in 86, and the Coco 3 gave us 16 colors on screen and had a palette of 64 colors. VGA gave us on the PC, again, it's not a color computer, completely different system, but VGA gave us 256 colors on screen, and the palette was something like 64,000 colors in total. So what I am discovering here, this is the demo. Let's go ahead and start the game. I have it on keyboard. Okay, I can shoot in 4 directions, and I'm moving around. Now, these are the time gates, just like on the Coco version, but what we can see here is there are a lot of different worlds. What I also see right now is that there are no bad guys chasing me in the time gates themselves, but much more colorful. The guy's wearing a uniform. In the Coco, he was kind of a black and white, looked like a spaceman with the helmets. Now this looks like a dude in a uniform. This looks like this is probably an Egyptian world. That's the Starship Enterprise. This is some type of space warp. So there looks like there's a lot more different world types to explore. A castle, a like Roman Colosseum. I don't know what half this stuff is. One of them is pretty interesting because it's kind of like a Pac-Man World. So this is the similar concept to the time gates. Let's go ahead and check out the Pac-Man World. In the Pac-Man World, instead of having to get a key to exit, you actually had to clear a maze like Pac-Man. And there are the equivalent of ghosts chasing you, and you have power pills. And so you actually clear this level by eating all the dots. And you can use the power pills to pick up the bad guys. One of the things you'll notice is that the sound is not amazing either. Original PC games, before we got add-on cards like the Ad-Lib music synthesizer or the Sound Blaster cards, original PC games had very basic speaker sounds too. Oh, I just got hit. Oh, and much like the Coco game, when you get hit, you lose a little bit of your life, but it doesn't stop or make you start over. So the guys turn blue like in Pac-Man. These are like the fearful ghosts, and I think you just have to clear the maze. So I thought that was kind of cool that they added this whole little Pac maze thing here as one of the possible levels, and I just cleared that maze. And so just like in the Coco version, I think if you go back, it will get harder and harder. So Pac World was one of the world types. I don't know if this sign here is a world. Okay, this sign is not really a world, but this is the legend. Okay, so that's Shadowland, which I've completed 1 time. There's Major Hazard, there's Gridville, there's Omega Complex, there's Bomb Factory, Ghost Town, which is similar to the old Western world, I'm assuming, Hotel California, that's cool, Grey Moon, which looks like a medieval castle, King's Crown, the Arena, the Dark Side Dare, Excalibur, Welkin Island, Sentinel, Chef's Curse, and Guardian. So you just saw me complete the Pac-Land, and we looked at the legend, which then shows what some of these other worlds are. I am kind of curious to see the Hotel California, but there's so many different worlds to check out. I want to see what the Star Trek world looks like. Okay, This is cool. Now, unlike the Coco version, I think you can shoot in 4 directions. I think in the Coco version I could only shoot left and right. Oh, I just climbed a ladder. That's interesting. Let's take a look at this world here. This world is called Old Bomb Factory. Oh, this is cool. So this is a traditional world here where you have to get a key to exit. This looks very traditional Time Bandit, other than being much more colorful, obviously. Very smooth scrolling too. Much like the Coco, the PC did not have any type of dedicated hardware for scrolling. So there was no hardware scrolling that enabled smooth scrolling by any means. So it was all done in software. And so when you had a PC game that had things that looked like arcade games, much like on the Coco, we knew that we had a good programmer on our hands who was able to write software to mimic what other computers had hardware to enable them to do. So at the time of the PC, the rival machines were like the Commodore Amiga and the Atari ST. Those were the high-end computers at the time that offered better graphics and more arcade-like experiences. Just like we had competition in the Coco days, there was competition in the PC days. Okay, there's the way out. I have to find my way back to the way out. And I'm fighting bombs, which is kind of cool. You know, the sound effects are minimal as well. PC, before, it was a little bit later in the 80s when good sound hardware came out. One of the first sound devices for the PC was called the Ad-Lib music synthesizer that used a Yamaha chip. And so the Ad-Lib was one of the first kind of third-party add-ons to add decent music. And at that time, if you had VGA graphics, which gave us these 256 colors, and an Ad-Lib music card, you had a pretty close to arcade experience on your home computer. And that was a pretty exciting time as some of these new technologies were entering the PC world. The days of DOS, the late 80s DOS era of gaming was really starting to shape up with newer technology. So the Ad-Lib music synthesizer would come out, and that would be one of the first things to give us cool music that would play in the background. That was then later replaced by the Sound Blaster card. Sound Blaster gave us not only the music, but also gave us digitized sound. So we would start to hear recorded explosions and actual human digital speech, which is very common in games now. But in the late 80s, early 90s, oh, I just died. You have died. This adventure is over. I get to put in my name, okay. Much like the color computer game, here we have it here. So Time Bandit for the PC, released in 1988 by Mitchtron with all the same programmers that were around in the Coco days. So this is a cool little treat. It was definitely a treat for me because by the time I got my hands on this game, I was already a few years removed from the color computer. I had stopped using my color computer probably around 86. I switched to a Tandy 1000. I started doing DOS stuff and programming in DOS and playing DOS games. So when I got my hands on Time Bandit, it was a nice treat to be reminded of my color computer days and see the game created in a very good way, a very next level way that took advantage of some of the newer emerging PC technologies like the VGA graphics with 256 colors. This game unfortunately did not take advantage of any additional sound hardware, which maybe had not been released yet. It would be nice to see a version of this that used better sound than the regular PC speaker sound. But other than the sound, the colors and the graphics are markedly more improved over the color computer for obvious reasons. It's much better hardware. But it was a nice treat to see a color computer game running on a PC and being updated this way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Technically not a color computer showcase, but a showcase of a game that started on the color computer and made its way into many other platforms. So thank you all for watching. I am the original gamer StevieStrow. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, throw out a comment if you've got something to say, and share this with your friends. Help me grow the audience. Thank you all for watching. Peace out. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.